but we started implementing the strategy that Justin posted, and then just reduced, like I said, reducing the emails and making them more personalized. And in a period from February 24th until today, we have a total of 52 appointments booked.
How that sound? Yeah, that sound good. Tell them break it down. ISO Wendy's in your town. Don't forget the dollar sign. How that sound? Yeah, that sound good. Tell them get in line. Hold it down. Hold it down.
First, I want to start with, let's start with some wins. Who wants to, we'll go over some wins and then we'll jump into how to train your VAs to be rock stars. I know we got some, I know Robert, I know you guys have had a pretty big week the last week. You want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, we launched our service, I'd say about a month ago, but we kind of took that approach of, like, go after the client, sign the client first and build the system later approach. We wanted to see if the system that we were actually going to build was going to work. And so for the last 2 weeks, let's say 3-4 weeks ago, we've been really doing some test campaigns and collecting some data, and really like training our VAs and getting our systems and our processes down. And so we really hit our stride. I'd say these last 2 weeks, we started implementing that email strategy. We started actually reducing the amount of emails we were sending out. We only send out about 250 emails per day, but those emails are highly personal. So our VA take the time to address the business owner by name if we have that information, and we just try to personalize each email as much as possible. So we don't look too cookie cutter. We don't look like it's too automated, and we don't just kind of slip through the cracks. And so what we've actually, like today, I'll use today for example. We sent out 250 emails yesterday, and I have 4 appointments set for this week, or for today, with 0 negative responses. So I did cold email for a while and it never worked. And there were points where I gave up and I said, this isn't going to work. But we started implementing the strategy that Justin posted, and then just reducing the emails and making them more personalized. And in a period from February 24th until today, we have a total of 52 appointments booked.
That's awesome, bro.
Yeah, we brought in a sales associate, and so he has, I think, 5 calls scheduled today. Again, these are 100% from cold email. This isn't paid advertising. We're not doing growing organic. We're not. We just implemented Facebook prospecting and Instagram prospecting. So I mean, once we add a combination of all 3 or 4 of those, I think we're probably going to be doing about 20 to 30 booked appointments per day. And so we just onboarded 2 more clients this week. We have an additional 2 proposals that we've got confirmation on. We're just awaiting payment. So that's kind of just how things have been going this past few weeks.
Dude, that is awesome, bro. So happy to hear that for you. Who else wants to share a win? I know Kyle closed the deal too, bro, right?
Yes, sir, Ski. It's pretty dope, You said what?
I like the Sirski part.
Hold on, the internet just broke up. It could be mine, or is it everybody?
I think it's you.
Hold on, what? Is it me, bro? Dude, this thing is annoying. I'm sorry. What was that you just said?
Nothing, man. Go ahead.
I gotta listen to the replay. No, man, it was pretty dope, bro. It was during the day. One of my salespeople, they were like, "Hey, I think we got a really good one." And so they've already talked to them, so I kind of just put the lid on the cap, and then it was a really quick, easy call, and then $18.97 later, it was pretty dope.
Congrats, yeah. Bro. That's awesome. I love seeing that for you, man.
Yeah, for sure. But art in the follow-up, man. And also this goes to the good discovery calls, because he came from a discovery call. He kind of hunted us back down, and so it wasn't like that day. It was somebody from like last week or something like that. And so just good follow-up and a good discovery call.
Cool. Well, congrats, brother. That's awesome. Just keep adding.
Appreciate it, man. Nope. Appreciate it, man.
Cool. Anybody else want to? Jordan, you closed. Did you close the deal too, man?
Yeah, 2 this week.
gosh, dude, you guys are all closing machines right now. That's awesome, bro. Tell us about it.
Yeah, there's two. So the one I closed today was the 895, which is like $1,200, I guess, in comparison. It was a pretty easy close, to be honest. The other one was a 495, so like $800, which is not as much work, so it's great. Where did they come from? Just my own network. Although I've set up Ulink the week running. I've got a video starting next week.
Nice, man. Well, congrats on the closed deals. Excited for you. Kelsey, you're up next. I have the feeling, I can sense it, that it's coming through.
Well, it's going to be hard to follow that all up because I haven't closed the deal yet, but I completely restructured like every single thing over the weekend because I was tired of like no shows and like shitty discovery calls. And just since like this morning, I've already had 14 booked appointments and 4 of them have turned into demos, and I have 2 more today. So I have Blake, he's reviewed 4 of my discovery calls and said that I'm killing it on that, which is good because I was freaking out. And he's reviewing my Zoom call for my first demo. And then I got a couple things to follow up with that guy, but so far so good with everything else.
Nice. Well, keep at it. It's literally just a numbers game, especially with 14 coming in. That's awesome. It's just a matter of time. So keep it up. Cool. And Christian, I can't tell if you're at work or you're there, bro. If you are there, let me know. If not, we will jump into today's training. Cool. All right, give me 1 second to pull this up. All right, let's go through this. So got some touch points I want to go over here and really just go over 3 main steps when it comes to training your virtual assistants, and more importantly, how to look at it as a longer term effect, because I've recently, we don't really place virtual assistants, here and there when I have friends or have business partners or something where I need to exchange value in one way or the other, we'll do it. But I recently placed one with a business, someone that we're doing business with in exchange for like a cheaper rate on something. And one of the issues that they kept running into was, well, the first thing was they ended up doing more work than they were expecting, and then weren't seeing the results that they were seeing. And the reason I'm telling you this is because you guys, and this goes for everybody, understand that when you're running a virtual assistant, or when you bring on a virtual assistant or any sort of employee, they're literally somebody that you're starting from scratch. Like, these people, no matter how much you pay for them, how much training they've had in the past, they are going into a completely new business. And I can promise you, your business model is going to be different in every way, and different than every other type of business. So always keep that in mind, even if it's something where it's like they're going to be copying the same SOPs that we give you guys or whatever it is. It's always going to be different, and have that mentality in there where you really just have to oversee and put in the work up front, because once you put in the work up front, you get to the point now where like our VAs are so trained because of the amount of time and effort and energy that we put in the previous years, where we just tell them to do something, they go and do it. Like, for example, today I took on this new client in the finance industry that I'm doing as like a side project. And we went through there, did some market research, and I sent him a funnel that I wanted him to kind of mimic. And immediately he knows, go out there, he knows exactly how to create and how to do everything. And that's exactly what I'm going to share with you guys today, is how to basically almost have a predictable process with your VA to make sure that they know exactly what to do. And it's very simple. And as you're looking at this, you're probably like, wow, dude, it's literally just a 1-page sheet. And that's exactly what it is. So I'm going to go through this, and we're going to start at the basics, and then kind of go through how to do these things. And then at the end, we'll leave it open for a Q&A. It can be a Q&A about VAs. It can be about your business, whatever you want to talk about. We can go from there. But first things first, what you need to be doing is, if you're not tracking the stats with your VA, make sure you're doing that. And there's a couple of different ways that you can be doing this. Screenshot Monitor, highly recommend. If you're not using that, use something on I know Upwork has like ways that you can go out there and track like to see when your VAs are working. And you guys give me a 1 in the chat if you're using Screenshot Monitor, or give me a 2 in the chat if you're not. But so I can kind of see where you guys are all at with all this. Cool. 1, 1, 1. Cool. Kyle 2. Cool. So really quickly, just a quick rundown of what Screenshot Monitor looks like. You sign up for it, and you can track your VA on here where, let's see if I can just sign in. I won't go into too much detail on it, but it's free. You go in here and it literally just tells you like how many hours they worked. You can see what screens they've been on when they're working. And it's really important to stay on top of this when you first get them on board. To be honest with you, I don't even check this anymore other than to pay my VAs, just because like I trust them and I've done such a good process, such a good training at the beginning to make sure that they actually follow everything. So I would say for the first, really 2 months, make sure you're monitoring this at least every other day. And then what you want to do, you want to make sure you call them out when they're not tracking what they're actually working on. And that will kind of train them along the way to make sure that they know, hey, well, when I'm on here, like I'm actually working, and they can track it. Another thing is daily reports. What I highly recommend, and have this going all the time, is inside your Slack channel, have a channel called like how you use like the hashtags, like the channel tags. You could have like hashtag daily reports or hashtag reports, whatever it is, or you could just have it in general, but have them like send you updates throughout the day on what's going on. I like morning, afternoon, and end of day, so they can give you an update of what's going on. So for example, like the morning, they'd be like, all right, my tests to do for today are X, Y, Z. Mid-afternoon, okay, I've completed X, Y, Z. We've seen this. Here's some feedback. We need more lead quality coming in. I need more lists, whatever it is. And then at the end of the day, it's more of something where they report on what they've actually done for the whole day, what they plan on doing for tomorrow. Just something to stay on track of it, because you want to treat them like real employees where you're really managing a lot of things. What I would also recommend to do is, add one right here, is have some sort of KPIs that they can track. We'll go into more training on KPIs in another training, but it's important to really understand, and like exactly with how Robert came on here and he's like, all right, well, we sent this many emails in the past 30 days. We've gotten this many booked appointments. We've had this many negative responses. Like, you want to know all those numbers, because once you have that, it's just a scaling game from there. And guess what? I mean, if Robert and his team sending out like 250 emails a day and they're getting that, well, really the next step in scaling is either just adding more outflow, like Facebook, Instagram, or even paid ads, or just increasing what's already working. So like once you know those numbers, it makes life a lot easier. So always figure out, even if it's just basic, just start getting started tracking some specific numbers. It'll make your life a lot easier. Daily training calls. What I would recommend to do is month 1 through 3, have daily training calls. And then month 3 through 6, you can kind of basically gauge it off how things are going from here. But really for the first 3 months, you want to be training your team, your VAs, your assistants, whoever it is, every single day. That way, when you hit month 3 and 6, it becomes, it's a lot easier. And like when we first got started with this, I did this with my VAs for the first, it was really the first 6 months. It was every day we were on a call. And more importantly, when you're doing that, is record everything. Because when you record it, you can go back and when you hire somebody new, just have that recording and just give it to them to make life a lot easier. I use Asana when I put up recordings in there. Like I have a specific Asana channel right now for hiring. And it's like I just did with my appointment setter the other day, is like anytime I get on a training with her, anything, any replays, any new trainings I get, I just automatically put in there and put a title to it. So think about it like your Rolodex of trainings, if you will. Step 3, train them. There's a couple of different ways I really go about this. I use Loom. If you're not familiar with Loom, get used to it right now. It should be your best friend. That's how we do everything. That's how my business runs, because I'll just get feedback from somebody and shoot a quick Loom video to them and be like, hey, you got to go do this, or give them instructions on how to create this type of funnel I want. Hey, mimic this funnel, change these words, add this picture, things like that. And it's really easy because with Loom, you can just go in there and pause it and they go back and check it out. Udemy. This has been a game changer for growing our business and training my VAs, because I run really 4 businesses online. One I really don't do anything with, but I'm really busy when it comes to training and hopping on calls. And that's why I'm really limited and like specialize who I let on my calls, just because I'm literally back to back almost all day long. So one of the things I found is if you want to train your VA on something, just go buy a $13 course from Udemy and have them go through it. Like that's how I had one of my VAs. I trained them on funnels, and then I wanted them to learn more. And to be honest with you, I think my VA probably knows more about funnels than I do now, because I'm just buying courses and telling them to watch it. It doesn't have to be Udemy. You can literally just buy courses from other people. You guys could have your VAs go through this course in here and be like, hey, I need you to go do this. I need you to learn this. Whatever it is. And like, I would recommend that you always do this, even if you don't have any work for them and you're paying them full time, be like, go learn this, because that's one of the most important things that you can do for them and your business, is have them constantly learning about your specific business. So I like Udemy. There's plenty of other ones, but Udemy, I mean, you can get literally full courses on how to do something for like $14. Like if you wanted to get them into graphic design, you could go buy a course on Udemy and be like, hey, go watch this, and then implement it. And what I found is when you're doing it, you want them to take notes and relay the information back to you, because it helps them retain it better and it helps you understand if they're actually picking it up, because anyone can just say, hey, go watch this course. And what I found happens is if you tell them, hey, go watch this or go do this, and sometimes they'll do it, but they might like fall asleep or whatever. So it's important because you can't actually see that on the screenshot monitor, right? So when you tell them to take notes and give you back the information, they know they have to be awake, and it also helps them retain it better too. So last thing when it comes to VAs and training them is just really understand that they are an employee. It's going to take time. It's not going to be perfect. They're going to mess up. In fact, you want them to mess up, because then you can train them on what to do the right way, and really monitor and like spend the extra time up front to do it, because it'll make your life a whole lot easier. That's how this whole automated agency aspect comes into play, is you have to put in the time up front and train and do the things you don't want to do. But after they get a hang of it and you have your processes in place, it just becomes a lot easier. So biggest advice, do daily team meetings. If you're not, even if it's for 5 or 10 minutes, just check in, see if they have questions, go over new trainings, go over something new in your business, get them excited. And then you can start pushing the meetings back. Last little secret sauce thing I'll give you is, if you can figure out some sort of incentive for your VA, if they're prospecting for you, give them an incentive for extra dollars for every booked appointment they get or something. Give them some price incentive that they can work to make more money than the average VA, because we're all in sales here. And if you can get somebody and paint the vivid image of, hey, every meeting that you set me, I'm going to give you an extra $10. And then you relay it to them. Well, guess what, man? Like if you set me 10 meetings this week, that's going to be an extra $100 in your pocket. That's almost a full week's worth of work, half a week's worth of work right there, just from 10 meetings. And you want to paint the image of what it could look like for them once they do it. And I'll promise you, like, if majority of these VAs, they get so motivated by that. If you can paint the image of of them literally doubling their income just from setting additional 10 meetings, you'll see like they'll be working so much harder and you'll be getting so much better results just by seeing like what type of work they can put in through all that. So that is really the 3 steps to training your VAs to become all-stars. And then, you know, a little bit of secret sauce there for you. But what are your guys' main takeaways, thoughts, things you're going to implement from this, things you've already been implementing? Give me some feedback.
I do $1 for every booked appointment, and that has been very beneficial.
Hell yeah. I mean, you've gotten what, like 14, you said you just got like 14 booked appointments?
Yeah, just since Monday morning.
I mean, yeah, that's perfect. I mean, what are you paying your VAs, like $2.50, $3 an hour or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a full day's worth of work right there just from setting appointments.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that, Kelsey. Keep that up. That's awesome. Another thing that you can do to even make that even better is give it like a tiered system. So say like after 10 booked appointments or after 20 booked appointments, every appointment after that's going to be like $1.50 or $2 or whatever it is. And that way it's like, they just keep reaching to the stars. And I promise you, like some of these VAs will get really creative. I've seen it before where if you have some sort of system like that, hasn't been in mine, but they actually go out there and they start making so much money on their own that they start like building their own little business and they hire people below them to start doing some of this stuff.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Yeah, I'll have to look into that.
Yeah. So you just be getting 14 booked appointments every single day at that point.
Right.
Cool. That's awesome. Anyone else?
No, I think that was dope. I lost a lot of money on one VA because I had him go through like, you know, different courses and things like that. And he just wasn't, I would tell him to report and then he would forget. And then I would tell him to report. But I think that screen share monitoring for sure is would have fixed that completely because I had a feeling, I have a good feeling about when people are lying. You know what I mean? I just felt like he was just making up stuff or just had somebody else watch it and then take notes because he wasn't implementing the things that were in the course. So that's how I kind of knew that he was just, you know, BSing me. But I think that screen share monitoring for the next VA that I get will be dope for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I've had the same thing happen, man. Like when I hired my first VA back in like 2016 or 17 when I first got started in all this. And I paid someone like $250 to like set me some appointments. The guy took the money and just ran. Yeah. Right. So that was like a terrible scenario where I just found someone on, I think it was Fiverr and they convinced me to pay them out of it. Like, I don't know. Moral of the story is if you are going to be paying, like, if you're going to do your VAs, like work with VAs, do it the right way. Do it kind of like what I showed you here and don't go out of the way to like send them money, like wires or anything like that. Like pay them after the job's done. Right. Is what I've always been doing.
Now, what about one last question? VAs for agency, right? For strictly agency, how are you having them set your appointments? Are you having them doing from their profile? Do you have a different profile? Like, how does that work out from Facebook and IG and stuff like that?
It depends on what you're doing. I mean, for example, at one point we had like 7 Instagram accounts going where they would just log in through different VPNs and different addresses, and they would all be different accounts, but they would be accounts.